Ryan was 17, a teenager with big dreams but no urgency. His room was a reflection of his life: clothes on the floor, half-finished assignments stacked on the desk, and ideas scribbled on sticky notes that never turned into action. Every morning, his alarm rang sharply at 6 a.m., a chance to start fresh. But Ryan always chose the snooze button, mumbling, "I'll do it tomorrow." Tomorrow became next week, and next week turned into missed deadlines, disappointed teachers, and broken promises to himself. He wasn't a bad kid, just stuck in a comfort zone where time felt endless and motivation always came later. His parents worried, his friends moved ahead, and Ryan stood still, unaware that the minutes he wasted were quietly shaping his future. Then came that one morning. The alarm didn't go off. Ryan jolted awake to find the sun already high in the sky. He had missed his ride to school, and more than that, he had missed the debate team tryouts he had secretly hoped to join. He sat on the edge of his bed, heart sinking, staring at the silent clock. It felt like time itself had finally given up on him. That day felt heavier than others. It wasn't just about being late, it was the realization that while he was busy delaying everything, life was quietly moving on without him. The future he once imagined was slipping away, not because he wasn't capable, but because he didn't act. And in that still, silent moment, surrounded by the chaos of his room and the quiet tick of regret, Ryan finally began to understand: time doesn't wait. It never had. That afternoon, the school hallway buzzed with excitement. Students celebrated, teachers clapped, and posters for the debate team were being taken down. Ryan rushed in, breathless and sweating, only to find the door to the auditorium already closed. The tryouts had ended 10 minutes earlier. He stood there, defeated, knowing this was his own doing, again. A teacher walked past, paused, and looked at him with a mix of disappointment and sympathy. "You had potential, Ryan," she said gently. "But time doesn't wait." Her words hit harder than he expected, like truth wrapped in regret. He nodded slowly, unable to meet her eyes. That evening, Ryan returned home and quietly entered the attic, a place he rarely visited. He wasn't sure why. Maybe he was searching for something to distract him, or maybe for a version of himself who cared. As he sifted through old boxes, he found an envelope with his name written in a shaky, familiar handwriting. It was a letter from his grandfather, who had passed away 2 years ago. With trembling hands, Ryan opened it. The message inside was simple but powerful. "Time is the only wealth that can't be earned back. Waste it, and you lose more than hours, you lose chances." Ryan read it twice, then again. The words echoed in his mind, louder than the applause he didn't get to hear that day. His grandfather had always been a man of wisdom, and now, even in silence, he was speaking to him. For the first time, Ryan felt something deeper than guilt. He felt loss. Not of a competition, but of the chance to become who he was meant to be. And that night, he lay awake, wondering how many more chances he would let time steal from him. The sun dipped low, casting golden streaks across the park as Ryan sat slouched on a wooden bench, eyes fixed on the ground. His thoughts swirled with guilt, frustration, and a quiet sadness he couldn't name. He had wasted another opportunity, another day. Around him, life moved forward, children played, birds chirped, and people passed by with purpose. But Ryan felt stuck, like he was watching life through a window he couldn't open. Just then, an old man with a weathered coat and kind eyes took a seat beside him. He hummed a soft, unfamiliar tune, the kind that made you feel something without understanding why. After a moment, he turned to Ryan and asked, "Rough day?" Ryan gave a tired nod. "I keep wasting time," he said. "And I'm tired of letting people down, especially myself." The old man didn't offer advice right away. He simply smiled, a knowing, patient kind of smile. "You know," he said, "every clock gets reset. It's not about how many minutes you've lost, it's about what you do with the next one." Ryan looked at him, unsure what to say. Then the man reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small, silver pocket watch. It was old, yet still ticking steadily. "This belonged to someone who once gave me a second chance," the man said, placing it gently in Ryan's hand. "Now, I'm giving it to you. Make this one count." Ryan stared at the watch, its rhythmic ticking suddenly louder than the noise in his head. For the first time in a long while, time didn't feel like an enemy. It felt like a gift. And in that fleeting moment under the fading sunset, something inside him quietly shifted. Something inside Ryan had shifted. It didn't happen all at once, but the change was real. The next morning, for the first time in years, he woke up before the alarm. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. The pocket watch sat on his nightstand, ticking steadily, as if reminding him that every second now mattered. He laced up his shoes and went for a jog, breathing in the cold morning air with a quiet sense of purpose. He started keeping a notebook, writing down his goals, breaking them into steps, checking them off one by one. His room, once cluttered and chaotic, became clean and organized. So did his thoughts. At school, he arrived early, prepared, and focused. His teachers noticed. So did his classmates. But Ryan wasn't doing it for attention. He helped his mom with groceries without being asked. He volunteered at the community center, tutoring kids who reminded him of himself. Not lazy, just lost in time. He started encouraging his friends to use their time better, too. "Let's not wait for perfect," he'd say. "Let's just start." Slowly, the boy who once delayed everything became the one people looked to when they needed direction. Then, without being pushed or reminded, Ryan filled out his college applications. Not because someone expected him to, but because he had rediscovered a dream he once buried under excuses. For the first time, his decisions weren't driven by fear or guilt, but by vision. Laziness didn't vanish overnight. But in its place, something stronger grew: discipline, drive, and a quiet sense of leadership. Ryan wasn't just using time wisely now, he was teaching others to do the same. And in doing so, he was becoming the person he once thought he'd never have time to be. The auditorium was filled with proud families, flashing cameras, and the electric buzz of possibility. It was graduation day, and Ryan stood on the stage in his cap and gown, holding the microphone with steady hands. A hush fell over the crowd as he began to speak. "I once believed I had all the time in the world," he said, his voice calm but full of emotion. "I thought missing one day, one deadline, one dream, wouldn't matter. But I learned the hard way that time isn't something we own. It's something we honor." He paused, letting the silence carry the weight of his words. "Someone once gave me a watch," he continued, pulling the silver pocket watch from his gown pocket. "But what he really gave me was a second chance. A reminder that what we do with our time becomes the story of our life." Ryan looked out over the crowd, at his teachers, his classmates, his mother in the front row holding back tears. "So today, I give you this truth," he said, voice steady, heart open. "Your time is your life. Don't waste either. Live like every minute matters, because it does." As the audience rose to their feet in applause, Ryan's eyes lifted toward the ceiling, where sunlight streamed through tall windows. And in that quiet, shining moment, he imagined his grandfather smiling down at him, proud, not just because Ryan had succeeded, but because he had transformed. What began as a lazy boy's struggle became a powerful reminder to all: it's never too late to start valuing what matters most. Ryan's story is a powerful reminder that the greatest wealth we hold isn't money, talent, or opportunity, it's time. He began as a boy who wasted days, postponed dreams, and lived in the comfort of tomorrow. But through failure, reflection, and an unexpected act of kindness, he discovered that transformation is always possible, when we choose to begin. From missed chances to newfound purpose, Ryan's journey speaks to all of us. We've all delayed, doubted, or drifted. But like Ryan, we each have a moment, a turning point, where we can decide to change. Whether it's a word from a stranger, the echo of a loved one's wisdom, or simply the quiet ticking of time urging us forward, the choice is always ours. Ryan didn't just change his life, he inspired others to rethink their own. His message was simple, but timeless: your time is your life. Honor it. Use it. And never wait for tomorrow to become who you're meant to be. Because sometimes, the second hand of a watch is all it takes to start a brand new life.